Hello, test 1 2. Hello, everybody. All right, finally getting around to making this video for everybody that's been asking me to, and that's been taking an interest in these satellites that I've been sharing with everybody lately over the past couple of years. I've been meaning to make this video for quite some time now. Um, I'm gonna be doing a lot of screen captures off my PC here, so I'm not sure how this is going to look on a small phone screen. I'll tell you how it'll look the absolute best is if you have like a Chromecast and you can cast this onto your television, or if you have a computer and you're looking at it on your regular PC screen. Maybe a tablet, I'm not quite sure. Um, I knocked the resolution down as far as I could on my monitor to help it out, but um, it'll probably look all jumbled up and you might not be able to read the writing and see what I'm trying to point out to everybody on a phone screen. So just letting you know. What we have here, this is the other thing I want to point out. I'm not quite sure how long this video is going to be. I've been trying. I've been working on this all day. I've already made some outside pieces, doing some recording outside stuff. So I've already got a bunch done. I just got to piece it all together and then post it for everybody to watch it. So I really don't know how long this is going to end up being. I'm trying my hardest to be as less technical as I could possibly get so that everybody understands. I know everybody just wants to know how it all happens and they just want the basics and all that shit, but um, fact of the matter is there's a lot going on. There really is. And I got to give you a little bit of everything from start to finish. That way you have an understanding what's going on. I mean, it's not really, I don't know, because I know there's some people going to be they want to know the details. So anyhow, that being said, I want to give you the basics of what's actually going on up in outer space here. All right. You see my arrow here? I'm just gonna move it around. Every time I click, you're gonna see a red circle. It's called a radar circle. And you'll see that. A lot of times what I'm gonna try to do here is I'm gonna try to click that. That way you can actually see what I'm talking about. Because if I'm looking, my eyes are over here, looking at these, and you're over here looking over here somewhere, you're not gonna, you know, you might not understand what I'm talking about if you don't know what I'm looking at myself. So, um, but basically, what we have in orbit, we have there's a lot of satellites, okay, thousands, all right, and there's lots and lots of Earth observing satellites, meaning satellites that are observing shit that's going on with the Earth, whether it be with the weather, the atmosphere, what's going on the surface, below the surface, um, things like that. Taking pictures, simply just taking measurements with instruments, high-tech instruments with different levels of the atmosphere, dust particles and other instruments that can detect lightning and all that neat shit. So there's all kinds of neat things. So all I'm really gonna be showing everybody is the ones that I've been sharing on Facebook, which are basically what you guys see as pictures of the Earth. All right. Um, that's what I'm gonna show you. Is how all that happens. So what we have over here, right where I'm clicking here, okay? These are the names of the satellites that are in orbit. And this is just this is just a tiny little list. These are just ones that I have chosen and some that the program has chosen as weather satellites. So these three right here, Noah 15, 18, and 19, These are probably actually, I shouldn't say probably, they are some of the oldest weather and Earth observing satellites in orbit. I believe, let's just take a quick look here. Well, that's a picture of it right there. Okay, that's one of them. That's this one here, Noah 18. Right here, Noah 18. Boom, boom. That's where she's at right now. Okay, that's what it looks like. 2005. She was launched in 2005. That one. That's one of the newest ones. Noah 15 here. Um, she was launched in 1998. I knew there was a couple that were launched in the 90s. So that's one of the look at that old clunker. She's still flying though, man. She still flies and she still takes good pictures. So these three here, these are the oldest ones that are in orbit. 19, I'm not sure when that was. It doesn't really matter. But anyhow, they're all pretty old. Okay. They all transmit their information on the VHF band. Um, we're gonna get into that later on. I've already got some video of all that, and we're gonna get into that more. Okay. So these ones here are all old. They all operate on the VHF band, but they still work pretty good. And you're gonna see them. You're gonna see that happen here in a little bit. You might be sitting around here for a half an hour or so, guys. Just so you know. You can fast forward. You can do whatever you want, but this video is probably gonna be at least 20 minutes long, I would say. Um, so these ones here, Meteor, um, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are owned by the Russian Space Agency. Okay. This one here isn't that old. I can't remember when it was launched. I ain't gonna bother looking. Don't really care. Um, Something hit it, a piece of space debris or an asteroid, not an asteroid, but a space rock or something hit it and took it out. And it was only wasn't even up there very long, maybe a month. So anyhow, luckily enough, this one here, they already had this one almost finished, completed, ready to rock and roll. They were planning on having two of them up there. I believe this one here, number 4, was planning on just being a backup in case something happened to this, but it never even made it up there as the backup before this one crapped out. This one here, um, I can't remember what happened to that. And the original one, that one's old, and I think she just croaked from old age or something. I'm not quite sure. But this one here, M2-4, let's just take a look. Um, let's see here. METEOR M2-4. There we go. It hasn't been very long. February 2024. Right here, look. Boom, boom. Ding, ding. February 2024. I knew it wasn't that old. I just couldn't remember exactly. So she takes good pictures. She takes really good pictures. Um, that that came overhead about 2 o'clock this afternoon, and I was here when it happened. So you're also gonna see that come in. She takes beautiful pictures. So these 4 satellites are basically the ones that I use the most. They are what is called a polar orbit, meaning these 4 satellites, all they do is they make a great big circle around the Earth from the North Pole to the South Pole, back up the North Pole. They just circle the Earth from North Pole to South Pole. That's all they do. The Earth spins around them, Okay, so the Earth is spinning and they stay stationary on their spinny orbit around the poles as the Earth is spinning around them. Okay, that's the easiest way to explain it. So just picture these things. They're just picture these things just going around a great big circle, all on themselves, and the Earth is spinning around them. Okay. Now the way the imaging with these ones work, the best way to explain it is picture a flatbed scanner for a computer or a photocopier. Okay, that thing, the pickup as it's scanning over top of that piece of paper to make a copy of it, whether it's a flatbed scanner or a photocopier. That's that's the very basics of how these four satellites work. So the transmission type is called an APT, an automatic picture transmission. Okay, so it's continuously transmitting information in the form of of an image, a digital image. Okay, it's being transmitted over the VHF band, and it's coming through just like, how can I explain it? As the Earth is spinning, it's picking up images off the Earth, just like the image scanner off of a photocopier. Okay, that's the easiest way to explain it. And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about here in a little bit as well. You'll see exactly how the images come in and the whole. It's pretty cool. So that's basically how these four satellites work. Just like a photocopier or a flatbed scanner, and it's continuously transmitting the image as it's scanning, as the Earth is spinning around underneath of it. Okay. So it's not the satellite or the imager that's moving, it's the Earth that's moving instead of the actual imager. Okay? So this green circle here, boom, that you see here, this is for Noah 18. For every one of these satellites, I'll switch to 15, Noah 15, right? And Noah 19. Those green circles, they represent what the satellite is actually currently looking at. That's what it currently sees. Okay? I'm sorry. That's the footprint of it. That's the footprint of the satellite at, I think I got it set at 1 degree off the horizon. Okay? So if you're within 1 degree, you're going to be within this circle. Of course, we're over here. So if Nova Scotia is within this circle, or my station here, I'll be able to receive the transmission off of the satellite. Okay, so that's them ones. The antenna that is used for this is not. I should point out before I get too far ahead of myself. With these four satellites, I am not using a satellite dish. Okay, I am not using a satellite dish. Way up in the back of my property, the back of my property goes up about 450 feet, and it goes on a continuous incline, and then it flattens out. So way up 350 feet back from my house, I have a receiving station set up. You're going to see that as well. And it's using what's called a QFH antenna, a quadrilateral helix antenna, something like that. I can't even say the word. Okay, it's called a QFH antenna. All right, that's all you need to know. So you're gonna see that later on, and that is what these four satellites are received on. Okay. Now, these are the ones that I've been sharing a lot of lately. I share a lot of images. Audience might not even realize that I actually put captions on them and what satellite they were received on. Um, it probably doesn't mean a lot to most of you, but if you go back and look at all my posts and you see which satellite they were actually received on, it'll tell you whether I was using my satellite dish or if I was using this um, receive station up on top of my hill. The receive station on top of the hill, which is for these satellites here, um, again, are VHF. The satellites that I share the images from the satellite dishes are much different. Okay, very, very different technology. One more thing I got to point out, actually, as a matter of fact, these 4 satellites are, depending on which satellite it is, they are in orbit between 18 and 22,000 kilometers up. Okay, so they're orbiting between 18 and 22,000 kilometers. The ones that I use the satellite dish for receiving, they're at 44,000 kilometers. Okay. All right, so let's move on to the other ones. That's these four here. These are polar orbiting satellites, the VHF, and they're hanging out between 18 and 22,000 kilometers. So we'll take the check boxes out of these ones, clear the screen off here. So now we're going to go to this one. This is called Go 16. This is one of my favorite ones. So this satellite, this is this is what's called geostationary satellite. She's hanging out in one spot, never moves, doesn't move. Okay. Where do I start? I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to start. Well, up until yesterday, okay, well, I know what I can say first. For starters, this particular satellite is incredibly powerful. Way, way, way more powerful than the other 4. By a long shot. Very, very powerful satellite. The imaging sensors on it are really, really good. They're very powerful. And the actual number of jobs that this satellite is doing outnumbers the old ones like crazy. There's a massive difference between the technologies. So for starters, up until yesterday, okay, for the last probably 2 years, I have only been able to successfully gain access to part of this satellite. About half of the capabilities. The other half, I was never able to gain access to it because of my knowledge level it just wouldn't get me there up until yesterday or the day before. I can't remember. Friday night is when I finally got it all figured out and got it set up. Um, so she's sitting at 44,000 kilometers. Okay. Um, you look down here. Boom, boom. She's sitting at 37.3 degrees off the horizon. That is standing in my backyard behind my garage. 37.3 degrees off the horizon. If you look at a compass, just a normal everyday math compass, um, she's at 197 degrees. Okay. 0 degrees, of course, being north. Yeah, of course, I'm going to get into that much deeper a little later on as well. I already got a bunch of video all geared up for that. I think that's about it for now. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to try to piece together. I got probably 6 or 7 other shorter, much, much shorter, probably, you know, not much longer. Holy cow, I'm at this for 19 minutes already. I'm sorry, guys. Anyhow, so I'm gonna try to piece this whole thing together for you and do a voiceover on the other parts of the video and try to make this all make some sense to everybody. Okay? All right. Peace out. Hello. Okay. So, one of the first things you got to do when you're doing this stuff, you got to figure out when these satellites are actually going to be going overhead. All right. What we basically have to do, we got to come over into this piece of software. I know I keep pausing here and there because I keep because I gotta be careful how I can't speak too technical. I'm trying to keep things short and simple. I have the program set up to my exact location, including my exact elevation above sea level. Okay, that's how the software knows all this stuff. So it already knows all that stuff, and that's how it gives me the information that I'm looking for. So we have these 4 satellites selected. So we're gonna come in here right now. This software is calculating. It's gonna tell me when these satellites are gonna be going overhead. So down here, look at that. One is going overhead right now. That Russian one. Look at that. Look at that. So, okay. Well, it's already half over. 3 o'clock. Well, yeah, whatever. Alright. So, sorry guys. So down here is when it tells me when all these satellites are going to pass overhead. This is their orbits. This is the satellite name. The first entry here, the time right here, is when it first hits 1 degree off the horizon, which is what I told the software to tell me. I can tell it whatever I want. I can tell it 5 degrees. Most people use 10 degrees because most people can't see these satellites below 10 degrees. I'm fortunate enough, I can see these bad boys right down to 1 degree off of any horizon, north, south, east, west, right to 1 degree. So that's what I have the software set for. And then the middle one here, this is when it's going to be at its highest elevation or its strongest signal, whichever way you want to see it. And then of course this one here is when it hits back down to, well, actually I got it set for 10 degrees. I'm a bullshitter. Look at that. I've been lying. Anyhow, I thought I had it set for 1 degree. I don't know why I got it set for 10. I don't know why. Anyhow. I thought for sure I had that set for 1. Anyhow, whatever. It is what it is. So, change all those 10s to 1s. Or those the 1s to 10s. Okay. So this line here, this is the orbit that this particular satellite's going to be taking your look. Of course, it's going to be coming in probably going right over top of Montreal here in a second. No, maybe a little further west of Montreal. I can tell from this map. So that's what that one's up to. The next one's going to be passing over at 1739. 539. Okay, so that's that. Okay, bye. Okay, so I'm gonna take you up on top of the hill here. Put this fence up for the doggies. So this setup here, this is for the older VHF Noaa satellites, Noaa 15, 18, and 19. That's what this is here for. So what we got here, see this little pole here? It's about 20 feet. See that zoom in on this thing? Yeah, a second. Come over here. This is called a QFH antenna. I can't pronounce the whole word. It's all called a quadriphila helix or some bloody thing. That's quite a climb. I got you to know. So there's the antenna right there. Look. She's in rough shape. That hurricane we had last year, the whole thing come crashing down. So she was all busted up, and I just pieced it together. My baling's all kind of all wrapped off it and everything, but whatever. It is what it is. I'll build a new one someday. But for now, she still receives right from 0 degrees to 0 degrees on the horizons. So she worked good. I mean, we're up on quite a hill here anyways, right? So, you know, I ain't gonna put my neighbors on there, but, you know, so what we got here is, so this has been set up here for, you can see the multiple tie downs because she came crashing down, right? This has been set up for probably close to 4 years now. This has all been sitting here. So what this is, this is a water cooler. Are you ready? Yeah, a second. It's been a while since I opened it. Ta-da! This is an old rotor. Just an old Wi-Fi rotor is what it is. One that has a USB port. I'm not going to move it because it looks like there's my critters inside there. Look. Somebody's been in there keeping warm. So there's a USB port on the back of this old rotor. Some rotors have USB ports on them, and if they do, you can access them to plug just any USB, anything USB you want. You can plug into them and access it if you know how to do it. Mouse, keyboard, don't matter. What do you call them things? Friggin' webcams. Anything like that, you can plug into there and access that USB device remotely from halfway around the world if you want to, if you know what you're doing. So what happens is the factory software, the factory firmware, if you want to call it that, that came with this rotor is not on it no more. There's a stripped down, very stripped down version of Linux on it right now. Is what's on it. Yeah, that's all I can say for this right now. I'll have to show you the rest inside the house, but that's what this is. It's just an old rotor, and this is the feed line coming in off the antenna. This is a network cable. This network cable is probably, I don't know, 350 feet long. Hello? Oh, hey baby. We're gonna say hi to the dog here. Hey baby. Woof, woof, woof. Hang on a minute. I'll be back in a minute. Okay. Let's say hi to the neighbor's dog. Okay, so anyhow, that's just a network cable there, that yellow one. That's 300 some feet long. Goes all the way down into the garage and into the house and then upstairs into my computer room. The white one, that's just that's how I get power to the rotor here. I just got a normal everyday just an AC adapter that you plug into your wall like you would normally plug into there. I just snip the end off of it. And this here, it's telephone wire. They would have old school telephone wire that you would have inside your house. I got like 3,000 feet of it at Value Village for $5 or something like that. So you can see it there. I had this all nice coiled up and everything at one time, but when that hurricane came through, everything got all messed up. So anyhow, that's what that is, and that's how I'm getting my 12 volts up to my rotor. Of course, that follows my network cable. Alright. So, yeah. So that's how that is. I'll show you the rest of that part in the house. But like I said, that accesses the QFH antenna up there. Right? Okay. I'm gonna keep it recorded because I normally go for a skateboard ride down here. It might be kind of something funny. Hello everybody. Alright, so Um, let's move on to um, the APT satellites. These four here, once again, the ones that you just watched the video of me climbing up that big hill there with that QFH antenna, and I had that old Wi-Fi router inside the box. All right. First thing we have to do is we have to connect to that rotor. That rotor, as I mentioned, it has a very stripped down version of Linux. It does not have the original software that come on that line on that box or rotor. All right. I got a few there going on, but first thing we have to do is we got to connect to that box. All right. I ain't gonna get into how that all happens, but if you want to look at it, yeah. Anyhow, I'm running a version of firmware is called OpenWRT. For you guys that want to check that out, that's what it's running. It's called OpenWRT. That's the firmware I'm running. And I gave it a default IP address of that right there. It's running on port 22. This is all on an internal network, so all you nerds and geeks out there, this network that all this is running on isn't even connected to the internet. It's nowhere near remotely. It's all by itself. So we're gonna connect to that like this. Boom, there's the prompt. That's the first sign that we successfully connected to that router. Now we're going to punch in my username and password. Now we got our prompt going on here. Okay. Got the prompt. So we got to type in a script here. This one right here. I just keep them in a text file so that way I can easily reference them. I got a bunch of them going here. So what this is going to do is this is going to formally connect the router to my software-defined radio, which is that little silver rectangle thing that you've seen plugged into the USB port in the back of that rotor. That's what this little command here is going to do. So we successfully just did that. All right. So now I'm gonna end this little clip, and I'm gonna move on to earlier today when those satellites were going overhead, and I made a couple videos then. All right. Okay. Here we go. Now, this part, I'm actually doing a voiceover of these videos that I made earlier today because that's when the satellites were actually going over. I can't just, call them up and say, "Hey, man, can you hang on till a little later?" It just don't work like that. And I didn't know how this whole video was all gonna go down. How it was all gonna go together, I should say. So I just did what I could do when I could do it. So all this stuff you're watching here, besides my arrow here, boom, boom. Anyway, that's my arrow, but um, everything else, this is all going on earlier today. It was probably lunchtime or something. I can't even remember now. You have to look at the times on it. 70, 60, 15, 14. 2 o'clock. It was 2 o'clock this afternoon. No, that doesn't sound right. 1876 feet. Yeah, I guess it was 2 o'clock. Okay, so this clip here is actually a half an hour long. I'm obviously not going to run that long. I'm just going to do a little bit of talk, and then I'm going to speed this sucker right up. Okay, so so this program in the background here, that's the satellite prediction program. That's one you've been seeing. All right, that tells me where the satellites are at and when they're going to pass over top ahead, or they're going to pass in a position where I can at least pick them up. All right. So as we also seen just a few minutes ago, we connected my computer to that little router up there in that box. Okay, so by now that's all set up, ready to rock and roll. It's waiting for commands from my big computer here in the house. It's waiting for my computer to say, hey, where are you at? And then the router will say, here I am, and then they'll start talking to one another, okay? This program right here, AirSpy, SDR Sharp is what it's actually called. The company's called AirSpy. That's this one right here, okay? Um, this program is now talking to that router, okay? And what you're seeing here is it's received information coming from that router. The router's getting its information through that little silver software-defined radio, which is connected to the antenna on top of that aluminum pole. Now, what I'm doing here, earlier today, I noticed down here, you see where it's a little flashing? See where it's red and it's only got 7.5% volume? I'm like, what in the hell's going on here? Because we're only getting a black screen. I do figure it out here after a second. I was playing with this a few days ago and I forgot that I changed the settings, so I'm in like freak out mode here right now, saying what in the hell's going on. I actually got 3 computer monitors here, guys. So sometimes you'll see, like I'm getting, anyhow. You'll see here in a second. I haven't even quite, I haven't realized that it's not decoding yet. All right. Yeah, we're just gonna let this play for a second. You can watch me freak out here in a second and go, oh my God, why isn't it working? You watch here in a second. There we go. Now I start realizing it. I'm looking at the volume, it's not changing. I'm like, what the hell? So anyhow, um, so this program here, it is now talking to the router. This program here that I'm playing with now is reading information from this program. So this program is taking all of its sound. It's actually making sound right now, but we're not hearing them because they're being sent through a virtual cable to this You can see me playing with it here now. Look, I gotta figure it out here now. Now we gotta start all over again. Here we go. And the manual. Yeah, clicker. There we go. Now she'll start coming in. All right. So on one down the pipeline, now she's starting to come in here now. You can see her coming in here now. Look. Anyhow, so what am I gonna do here now? Um, so this is receiving the Noaa 15. This is the old bugger. This is one that was launched in 1982 or 89, whatever it was we were looking at earlier there. Did I show you that part yet? Yeah, I should do that. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the app in here, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take 1, 2, 3. Let's think. One. Yeah, I'm gonna take 3 of these things. So I'm gonna take an hour and a half's worth of decoding, like this, and I'm gonna speed it up. Okay, and hopefully it doesn't take too long to get through. But I really want you to see it because it's pretty cool to watch. All right, I don't even know how I'm gonna do this, so I gotta figure out how to do this first. I don't know if what am I gonna do here? I think if I hit stop. All right, let's try this. Okay. That went by pretty quick. So now it's all done receiving the information. I just instructed the program to decode all of the information that it just had come in over the last half hour. So that's what it just did. So now it's going to go through. Well, I'm going to go through and show you what it received. Okay. So if you notice the orbit that it was somewhere between Europe and North America, if I remember correctly. Alright, so I'm going to speed this up a little tiny bit, and then I'll be back in a second. So we'll boogie this right on through here. I'm going to show you what these images look like. Boom, boom. There we go. All kinds of neat stuff going on there. Pretty pictures coming through. Yeehaw. Cranking right along. So that's what they look like. That's from the old clunker from the 80s. Pretty neat, eh? Alright, let's move on to a new one. This is a newer satellite, slightly newer, same technology, same everything. That's still one of those 4 that I originally showed you. So we're gonna receive another one here. This one came through much better, much smoother. All right, so I'm gonna speed this one up and let you watch it come in. Okay, so we're gonna take 15 minutes, knock her down to 30 seconds. This is me just fooling around while I'm making the video here. She's rocking and rolling there now. That's it. That's number Noaa 18 coming in. Once it's done here, I'll slow it down to normal speed and show you what these pictures look like. Should be here done here in a second here. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so I'll go through these pictures right quick. This is what it just received. Much better looking picture, eh? So all these neat colors and stuff, these are what are called overlays. They take the original picture and then and it also sends out a whole bunch of data. All right, based on moisture content, different levels of the atmosphere, and then the software here takes the numerical data, superimposes it over top of an image, and that's what gives you all the neat colors and how the software knows where to put them, more or less. All right, so that's that. So that's this one. There's another one coming up here. It came in pretty good tier here. I'll let that run. I'll speed it up a little bit, but I'll let you guys decide if you want to sit here and watch this one or not. I'll speed it up a little bit, and if you don't want to watch the whole thing, you can fast forward yourself. This is just me setting it all up again. I don't know what time it was here. I don't know. I don't know what time it was. I bet it was 11:24 in the morning. Or so. That's just a guess. Here it is. This is Noaa 18 again. Alright, I'll speed her up a little bit. Back in a minute. Let you watch this one rock and roll. I get all set up here in a second, you'll see it. Alright, well, so here you go. These are the images that just came out of that one. This one here came right over top of Nova Scotia. You see Nova Scotia right underneath these clouds? Here, look. I gotta talk quick because I gotta go in quick. So this bad boy came at 68 degrees off the horizon, 90 degrees is straight up and down, of course. This one came through at 68 degrees. This is Nova Scotia right in here. Well, it was. Alright, on to the next. Now this one here is a little bit different. This is that Russian one. I gotta use a different piece of software. Um, it's got a different communications protocol than the last three. So I'll just let this run for a second on regular speed. Um, you watch it come in. You can't really see anything yet. We gotta wait till this one's done and then go back and look at the pictures. You can't watch them as they're coming in on this one. This one's this one's a lot more finicky. She's difficult. She likes to be. She's cranky. This one, but she produces some pretty images. She's nice. She's a beautiful satellite. So if here, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know what's going on. Oh yes, yeah. So I remember what happened here. I missed it. I'm just getting the tail end of it. You can see the satellite here. She did come down here like this. She came right down, right up over like this, and I didn't catch her on time. So this is the last part where she's getting up here. Hey, I'll show you the pictures when this is done. I'll stop talking for a minute. Okay, here's the pictures from this one. Alright, this is almost done. Just looking to see when the next ones are going to come over. No, no good. Yep, that's it for now. Okay, folks, on to the next. Okay, so what we got here, well, this is what everybody's really wanting to see, most of you anyways. Well, we got two satellite dishes. We're mainly going to be looking at this black one here. This one here, it's set up for a different satellite than these Earth observing satellites. That could be another video for another day. That's just, it's kind of boring. That's a boring satellite. Ouch! I got a thorn in my finger and I gotta get it later on. Okay, so what you have here, this dish is pointed at a satellite that is known as GOES 16. Sitting at 37.5 degrees is where it's pointing. Look at it on an angle like this. It's at 37.5 degrees. The pickup, that's called a helix antenna. Of course, it's homemade. I'm gonna have to come over here so you can see a little bit better. Hopefully, anyways. So that's it there. That's a 3D printed. That's just a stand, basically. What's the other word I'm looking for? A stencil.
to make that coil so that the coils are exactly perfect. Because when you talk of satellites, you're talking millimeter accuracy here. Inside that Rubbermaid container there is the actual receiver and the amplifier slash cutoff. It cuts off all frequencies above and below a very short range, which is where the satellite's located. That we're not getting any outside interference because they're really sensitive. That's just the pie plate. That's what that is. This is aluminum pie plate. I got it at Value Village. I got two of them for $1.50. That's the reflector. So, then of course it comes down this USB cable. It's just a USB cable coming out of the Tupperware container. It's sealed up tight, no water moisture. It comes down here like this, right, into this big old Rubbermaid tote, right. I'll show you what's inside this one. Ready? What do you think's inside this one? Not another rotor. It's a little bigger. Actually, there could be a rotor in there too. Actually, there is. Yeah, I was using the rotor for that satellite over there. Okay, so here we go. This is an old Dell laptop. As you can see, Value Village is one of my favorite places. I got this laptop at Value Village for $10. I got that old rotor that's the same as the one that's up on the hill. I got that for $8, right? It's a working everyday laptop, just sitting here, snoozing away, just chilling out. That's all she's doing. I had to take the battery off because the battery got too cold and it wasn't being used, so I had to take it off because it was making funny noises and shit. So there's a laptop in here. This has been set up here for probably close to 2 years now. All the winter. It's even made it through a rainstorm. I forgot to put the weights back on the lid. The lid blew off of it. It got soaked. I had it in the house drying in a bucket of rice for days. Anyhow, she still lived through it. It wasn't flooding or nothing, but it got pretty freaking wet, I want you to know. Anyhow, of course, got a network cable there and a power. Just power. There's normal everyday power, right? And the network cable. Coming in here, going into the garage, right? And of course, there's the yellow one from up on top of the hill. I'll give you a better vantage point of the hill here. Now look, you can see her up there. Look, you can see her there, right? Our cable comes in there and into the grid. All right, I'm gonna pause you for a minute. Okay, on the grid. Network cable coming up there, over there, runs all along through there, right? So I had to take down one of my shelving units. So my little hub, I got it stuffed up in the ceiling right now. It's just a 5-port hub. That's all it is. Um, oh yeah, alright. Sorry, I had to think there for a minute. So we got that hub there, right? And then one of these white ones here comes all along through there, right? That one there, that hub, and that rotor's for actual internet. And does some other things too. We're not really here to talk about everything. We're here to talk about satellite stuff. So, anyhow, one of them, when network cables comes down through there, and goes into the house. All right, talk to you in the house.
Okay, now that we're back inside, I'm going to show you when it comes to the satellite dish. Step one, just like the router. Step one is I have to connect my computer to that laptop computer. All right. That's pretty easy. I got remote desktop connection running on the laptop as a service. So no matter what, as soon as you turn the power button on, I can connect to that. I don't have to wait to log on to Windows. I have to wait for, I gotta wait for for the boot up and all that shit. But um, I don't have to do anything fancy. Just got turned. So if the power goes out, all I gotta do is hit that power button and come back inside, wait a couple seconds, and I can connect to it. I don't know. It does it all by itself. And this is the IP address of the laptop. So I'm just gonna connect to that bad boy, punch in my password like that. Oh, I gotta bring this over here now, I guess. All right. Well, I'm gonna turn that off for now. So that's turned off. So you're now looking at the desktop of the laptop. Okay. So first thing I have to do is same as the router. This time only the laptop. When you looked at the end of the satellite dish there, inside that little Rubbermaid container, um, instead of um, the little silver square rectangle thing plugged into the back of the router, this one here is significantly larger. It's a different unit. It's still a software defined radio, but it has much better capabilities. The first thing we have to do First thing we have to do is connect the laptop to the software defined radio and make it available to me in here in the house on my big computer. That's what we're doing here. It's pretty easy. I've already set the scripts up and all that shit. I'm not gonna get into all that foolishness. Um, but it's a shortcut here and it goes to a little script which fires up the server and all that stuff, right? So now, um, um, yeah, okay. Now let's set this up for our receiving some images. Um, so as I was saying earlier, well, first of all, let me back up. This is going to be switching over to the satellite dish out in the yard here. Okay, this is coming off the big black 12.5 foot dish. Um, Now, as I mentioned earlier, this satellite is very powerful. It has a lot of different things on it. It does a lot of different things. Um, I'm only going to be showing you three of the things that it does because these are the things that I use the most. There's some lower quality imaging that you can receive off of it. Um, there's a whole pile of weather forecasting tools that are transmitted off of it. Um, there's a search and rescue portion on it for search and rescue beacons. Um, yeah, so as you can see, the signal coming in here now. Look, I'm just adjusting everything to start receiving. You can see the arc in the signal here. That one on the far left here, the little hump there, that's another product of this satellite. Those are a whole bunch of lower quality imaging. I believe the one on the right is for your forecasting products. The big arc here in the middle, that's for pictures. Basic. We'll call them pictures. Images. We'll call them images. You can start seeing it coming in here now in the bottom right hand corner. Those are the first images coming in here now. So um, I'll try to explain this the best I can. The three different products that I'm going to be showing here, and the way they do it is they change the configuration or the wave pattern at which they're transmitting the signal from the satellite. Okay, they can do it three different ways. They can send it down in a linear fashion, basically in a straight line, or they can turn it into what we call a circular polarization. And that circular polarization can be left-handed or right-handed. Um, I'll throw up a picture of one right now. As you can see, it's a pretty simple thing. It's just can that cinnamon sticks came in. Linear, all as you can see the antennas inside the can there. Um, all linear means is a straight line, just like your AM/FM antenna on your car. All right, it's just sent down from the satellite and it basically in a straight line. Um, so you have linear polarization, and then you have circular polarization, left-handed and right-handed. Um, you seen the pickup on the end of the satellite dish earlier. That's one of the circular polarized antennas. I believe that's one of the left-handed one, and this is the right-handed one here. And it has to do with the direction that the element is turned in. Is how they determine whether it's right-handed or left-handed. And there's the other one on the other end of the satellite dish again, in case you didn't see it earlier there. So they send down uh, different information, um, depending on how they're actually sending the signal down. So that's how it works. So I'm gonna close my app here, and I'm gonna speed this up. I think only runs for a little bit there, and then I'll show you the images that was received during this time period right here. So I'm just gonna let this rock and roll. I'm gonna condense this way down. This is a 44-minute I received this transmission for 44 minutes is what it was, and I'm gonna speed it up. I'm gonna chop a bunch out of it, and it gets pretty boring. I'll sit here and watch this, but you'll be able to see a few minutes of it. I'll let it roll for 3 or 4 minutes. If you want to skip through it, go right ahead, and then I'll show you. Like I said there, I'll show you what it was actually the images that I received. Yes, one more thing. I forgot to mention this here. What it's receiving, the protocol is called HRPT, High Resolution Picture Transfer. So that's what I'm actually receiving here now. It's the HRPT transmission off of this satellite. Hey guys, here's what was just received there. It's an example of, anyways. Um, I condensed that from 45 or 47 minutes right down to about a minute and a half back there. So this video's getting pretty freaking long, so I'm gonna have to boogie along here, getting you guys pretty boring probably by now. So as you can see, Every half hour, there's a bunch of images that are received. Well, a bunch of information and images that are received. You can see the uh, the file, the timestamps on the folders that were created here as they were coming in. If you look at the file names, this is what each image is. Okay, so here they are. This is what we received. So these are computer generated images, obviously. Well, the overlays, the information over top from all the colors. Um, the, these are different uh, different amounts of water vapor at different levels of the atmosphere. Is what you're seeing here. It's not what you would think. It's not a radar screen like you would normally see on television or something. That's not what this is. So as you can see the outline of North America here. So this, as you can see, that just a map, the outlines of all the borders. You'll see them pop off and on there. So that was obviously that's computer generated. That's just easier to help us see what we're looking at here. As we can zoom right in on Nova Scotia here. This is the rain that's coming over top of here tonight, November 22nd. So these images I started them around 20 to 4 and ended them around 20 to 5 p.m. on Friday evening. So this is the rain that we're feeling here right now. All right. Again, these are just different um, computer generated colors for water vapors at different levels of the atmosphere. And of course, you can see the sun starting. Whoop, the sun's starting to set here now. This is obviously the shadow coming across here. All right, pretty cool, eh? That's some pretty amazing images right there. All right. So if we want to come back and we want to go ahead, oh, this here is half an hour later. There's another half an hour, so we'll come in here and we'll see what all these look like. I think this is surface water here. So this would be what we're seeing at the surface or feeling as rain or whatever, right? So that's that. So every half hour, this is the bunch of images that you get right here. What they call full disk. Now, they other have two other imaging sensors. It's like a micro scale. So usually if there's a storm coming in, they will zoom in on the storm and they'll follow the storm up with these sensors. And they got two of them. It's like a it's like a much higher detailed in a smaller area though, much smaller. I'm not sure where this one's pointed at right now, but that's what it looks like. It's pretty cool. Oh, I guess if we look at the map here, that's somewhere down the eastern seaboard. This is what you get. So what they do is GOES 18. That is the identical satellite, but only it hangs out over the southern part of the Pacific Ocean, and it forwards a couple of images from that satellite onto this satellite so that we can see them here. So this is obviously the Pacific Ocean. There's that leftovers of that bomb cyclone right here. Look, that's leftovers here. And here's the next one that's coming in here. So they're getting a bunch more crappy weather coming into BC here in a little while. You can see it's starting to take shape here. And this is the one that just started to fall apart here now. Anyhow, so another thing that it receives is the National Weather Service. They send out all kinds of crap. Different weather maps of the surface of the ocean, water temperatures and wave heights and direction, speed of air at different levels of the atmosphere. All kinds of stuff. These are in text format. Let's back up one more step here. In here, um, this is, you have your channel numbers over here on the left. And in the file names, each one of those file names has a number in it. And it'll tell you exactly what that image actually is that you're looking at. And these are what they are here. So that's what that means. You can pause anything on either so you can read it longer if you want to. I just don't want to sit there and hover. You can pause and read that if you want to. So these here are in text format. These are current conditions in all kinds of places around the world. These are sent down every 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes, you can come on here and see what the conditions are. Most of this is for automations. There's softwares and stuff out there that are automated to come on here and read these file names because each one of these file names means something, um, given its location. And they come on here and they automatically read all these conditions and make computerized forecasts and display them on your television for you, like the Weather Network and all that stuff, I guess. So that's what these all are. And then you can come down here. Look at them all. Some Paul of them, I know that. And then they produce some different types of weather maps for you to check out. And much smaller resolutions of some weather maps here. Kind of neat stuff you can look at. Radars, all kinds of stuff. Chances of course, this is all American based. It's American satellite. All kinds of different stuff. Alright, that's what you get on this bad boy. Alright, on to the next. Okay, now let's try this again. This is my third time trying this. I made mistakes, so I had to start it all over again. I wasted about an hour and a half. Well, we're gonna do it all over again. Alright, so what we got here. This is what we call Go's GRB, or Go's rebroadcast. We're on 1.16a 6.6 or 1.686.6 gigahertz. We are receiving on an antenna on the satellite dish I showed you earlier. It is the left-handed polarized antenna, or LH uh, L left-handed polarization. So this one here, it's a little bit different than, I'm going to start this right now. It's a little bit different than the HRIT, the high resolution picture transmission. A high rate image transmission, I should say. Um, my computer is strong enough to be able to demodulate and decode it all in one step and save it onto the hard drive all in one step, simply because the transfer rate isn't extremely high. The data rate, the transfer rate, whatever you want to call it, it's not it's not dramatic. Um, Still a lot to deal with. Most computers aren't able to do it, or I shouldn't say most, but a lot. But this one here, GRB, it's transmitting a lot heavy duty payload. So my computer isn't quite strong enough to be able to decode it, or I'm sorry, demodulate it and decode it all in one step. Okay. It's close, but no cigar. I got a pretty powerful computer. Um, it's just not quite strong enough. So I have to do it in two steps. I have to demodulate and record the demodulated signal onto my hard drive, and then when that's done, I have to decode it and save the decoded images and information onto my hard drive. So that's what I'm doing here now. Um, you can see down here, this is the amount of space that's taken up on my hard drive. It's about 2 gigabytes for every minute of information being stored. So I'll just let this run for 15-20 minutes or something like that, and then I'll come back and we'll decode the signal. So I'll speed this up so you're not sitting here being bored, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, once this reaches 40 gigabytes, which is roughly 20 minutes worth of recording, um, I'm going to stop this, and then we'll move over to the decoding side, and we'll decode all this information. Stop that. We'll stop the transmission between me and the laptop outside, which is connected to the dish. We'll stop that, and let's process it and decode all that.